Hey, we're live. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Behind the Scenes with Your Teen. We have some of our editorial staff here with us today, and some others, lucky ones, are enjoying something else this in these final weeks of summer. But today, we're talking about those times when our kids do something or they're just being themselves, and all of a sudden we just feel so old. Like, how did this happen? How did we get here? I'm the one who sounds like my parent now. My mother is coming back, or, I'm the grown up here. And I have to say, this came to me a few days ago in my experience because I went shopping with a teenage daughter. And I don't know if everybody here has had that moment where you're sitting in the dressing room and your teenage daughter is trying all these clothes on, and the mirror's right there, and your fresh faced girl is trying on all this stuff, and then your eyes come over to yourself and, like, who is that person? Why is she so much older than this cute girl next to you with the smooth skin and the shiny bouncy hair and all the good stuff? So I had that feeling like, oh my gosh, I what happened? How did this happen? And she didn't even do anything. And I didn't say anything to her because there's nothing to say. But I just had that feeling. And I don't know if anybody else has had that one. I'm going to send it down to you, Mindy. And before I send it to Mindy, just remember, say hi in the comments, tell us you're here, share your experiences of inadvertently feeling like an old person. Mindy, sending it to you.
Thank you, Jen. Sharon, I will always call you Jen. Sharon. I have absolutely had that moment. Mine was in a shoe store, and I walked past the mirror. I don't know, and I was like, oh my, it was just shocking. Oh my God, like, who is that old person in the mirror? And it was me. But as far as knowing when we're old through our kids, well, first of all, I could probably take up the entire Facebook Live chat today with the things that makes me realize I am old. But one thing is, my boys tell me, they are constantly saying, oh, you guys are so old. That's like a repetitious thing in our head. You guys are so old. So that's a continual reminder. But the one thing that really sticks out to me is, I remember when I was young, maybe a teenager, I was going out somewhere and my dad was cleaning the garage. And I remember thinking, oh my God, why would anyone clean the garage? What a complete waste of time. You would clean the house. You could clean up the yard. But I could still picture him in our old garage sweeping. And I just thought, wow, this guy has nothing to do. And then, fast forward years ahead, my husband and I are cleaning out the garage. And it's that moment where you just go, oh my God, you really do need to clean out the garage. And you almost want to apologize to your dad, like, I am so sorry. But that, to me, the mirror in the shoe store, Sharon, as you said, and cleaning out the garage were two moments when it was like, wow, I am beyond the fun, spontaneous, wild young mom I used to be. So a little disheartening, but hey, with age comes wisdom, right? So we're all a little bit better off. I will then pass it on over to Jody. Up this side, Jody, next to me.
Oh, Mindy, I can take your garage cleaning and up you just a few. But in fact, this story, two things. And I also do have the kids who remind me always of my foibles. But I don't know how to use our TV. And I will tell you, I can't. There are two different controls, three sometimes. You got to move this. I'm like, what happened to just the one? I just can't do it. And I feel like, I don't know, I don't have the bandwidth to remember that. And I am learning new things as I get older and everything else, but I cannot do it. And to everybody's frustration, except for the fact that I don't really watch that much TV, so it doesn't really bother me. But I have to call, if no one's home, which has been a rare thing anyway, I actually have to call or text someone if I really want to turn on the TV to watch someone, and then someone patiently will talk me through it, which is kind of funny because just this morning, my mom whose birthday it is today, but called because she couldn't figure out how to do something on our phone. So I feel, I am my mother. It isn't just that I'm becoming my mother, I am her. But, and then in terms of like the garage cleaning, just a few weeks ago, maybe it was, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks, but there's a big concert here with somebody I like very much and I've gone to see before and everything else. And unfortunately, I think just because the venue is a little bit of out of practice and everything, the show was great, but there were a lot of complaints about the parking. And I even know some people who it was so disruptive that they missed part of the concert because they couldn't get in there. And I just happened to see a newspaper article recently about how somebody is even suing to get the price of their ticket back because they think that they oversold from the canceled concert, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, my husband and I were looking, we were walking the dog and he's like, oh, we should have gone or we missed it. And then we both like, there's no way. I wouldn't even want to do that in a million years. Like I am at that point. I don't want to deal with traffic. I don't want to deal with that. I would just rather stay home and, sit around the fire pit or sit on the couch. And, it's the same thing. Like that's where I am, I don't know. So here I am embracing it, I guess, for better or worse. But yes, I think that certainly that ship has sailed where I'm like, oh yeah, here I am. So, all right, moving on to Jen, who I know has gone to concerts, so she's probably not quite there yet. But
I haven't been to a real concert in a bazillion years, and I will tell you why in a very humiliating moment, because I'll tell it through the story of the summer. I picked up, we got a pass to do spin classes at a local place. And it's one of those fun places where they, it's like they've got great music and you're spinning to the beat. And I love everything about it, except it is too loud. I cannot stand how loud it is. I have to bring my own earplugs and put them in. And my daughter's next to me looking at me like, oh my God, do I have to be with you? And I actually couldn't even help myself. Like after the first class, the chirpy lady comes up. How was it? Did you love it? Was it great? I'm like, yeah, it's too loud. And she's like, oh, well, we do have a bowl of the, earplugs in the hallway. And I've never seen anybody but me avail myself of them. So that's why I don't go to concerts. And I feel super old, but everything is too loud for me now. And also I can't hear. So I don't understand how that works. Why is it too loud and I can't hear? That seems unfair. Just a few more priceless moments to share. Anytime I want to show something to my kids on my phone, they're like, oh, the brightness, it's so bright. How can you stand that? And they have to take it and like turn the brightness all the way down to almost zero. And I'm like, there's nothing on my phone. I don't see anything. I see nothing. So that is another humiliation. I guess age comes for us all. Mindy, I was laughing about the garage because my kids, they know we've had a great morning when we come back and we're all like zippity doo dah. We took stuff to the dump. Yay! It's our favorite thing to do is take stuff to the dump and then maybe go get a cup of coffee afterward. If that doesn't qualify you for an AARP card, I don't know what does. But here's one of the funniest things. I know that I'm old when I say something that I think is perfectly understandable in the lexicon, and my kids give me that look like, what language are you saying? For example, not too long ago, somebody was cut me off in traffic or made me angry. And I said, that just really gets my goat. And they looked at me like, what? What does that even mean? They'd never heard that expression before. And I thought, wow, everybody knows that, right? They're like, nope. And I said, well, what would you say? They're like, maybe like that grinds my gears. That's what we might say, but they had no idea. And I don't understand why anything would get somebody's goat either. It doesn't make sense. But I mean, Jessica, do you know what that means to get, yes? Okay.
To be fair though, I don't keep up with normal slang very well.
Oh
like my favorite habit is just using just a weird conglomeration of slang from every single era I've ever heard and just kind of throwing it out there, and everyone's like, I can't figure out how old you are.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you're not a good test scenario.
Yeah, I mean, because I also have the earplugs during concerts.
Oh,
I
God.
thought
Yeah,
Jessica was going to say that she likes to use old people slang, and so then I was going to feel even better.
Yeah, I was like, thanks, Jessica. Oh yeah. Also, 2 summers ago, my daughter scored free tickets to a Beyonce concert, but she didn't have any way to get there, so I got to go as her +1. Earplugs the whole way. That was the last concert I went to, and it was a punishment. I mean, I love Beyonce, but it was a punishment, even with the earplugs just too loud. Okay, I'm going to take my embarrassing self off. Back up to you, Jessica. Make me feel
the
better.
Drums. Listen, I can handle everything else about a concert, but the drums are too loud. I like. I think Sue told me I'm supposed to say what makes me think that you guys are old, and I'm like, I don't think I'm allowed to do that. I feel like I have to plead the fifth on that one.
Do you want to keep your job?
Yeah, like I like working here. I don't want to. And I mean, it already, just being the only person here that doesn't have children, I already feel very much younger than everyone else. Just saying like, oh, my son is learning to drive is enough for me to be like, oh, I am very much younger.
Jessica, you can just give the over/under on how many text or phone calls or emails you get a day from us collectively that we can't figure out something on the computer. So, I mean, that should just basically do it for you right then. So.
That's fair. I am kind of. I don't think that I wasn't technically hired as tech support, but I kind of am tech support just by default. And I mean, I've also always just been an old soul. Like, I can't keep up with, like, I think slang for kids changes like every year practically. Like, I've heard 16-year-olds talking, and I'm like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me. Like, that gets my goat. It grinds my gears that are inside of the goat. I don't know. That's really all. That's all I got. It's starting to get to me. I'm already like the oldest person in the sphere on the internet, so I'm gonna pass it. Oh, I'm pointing the right way to Kamira.
Okay, I co-sign everything that everyone has said and have our family stories for each child in all of those scenarios. But when we came up with this topic, the thing that came front of mind for me was not too long ago, I don't know, this summer, I had to explain to one of our kids what an encyclopedia was. And it just hadn't dawned on me. I thought maybe you hadn't seen one but you've heard of them, right? He didn't know what an encyclopedia was. So not only did I have to explain the concept of encyclopedias and volumes and how important they were and how they were a measure of economic status and how people, put them on layaway and you would get one issue at a time. And then the next year and how different families strategized around getting them and the door-to-door salespeople, all of it just blew his mind. And so I explained to him how excited I was when we got computers and you could get the Encarta disc, which was an encyclopedia on a disc, and he drew another blank. And I was like, how old can I be when an actual computer disc is still drawing a blank? And I was like, you have to imagine, no Google, nothing, everything, everyone, even in college, they did their term papers. They went and they looked things up in encyclopedias. It was hysterical. That I haven't gotten over that one. So I've been feeling old all summer because of that one.
Kamira, I have to ask, were you a World Book family or an Encyclopedia Britannica family?
So we were a library family because my parents my parents were like, I love them so much. And they were like, she's going to want the latest edition every year. And we're not doing that. So I didn't get my own set until my sister got a set when she was going to college. And she did upgrade to a newer set, and I got Britannica.
Oh,
gave me her old one. Oh my God, what a treasure.
We had World Book, but we were stuck in like 1964, like before I was born.
But you guys remember they would send out a supplement each year with like the add-on things. I mean, it would be, this thick, but it would be, 1973, and then it would have like whatever got added, which was.
And just to jump on the encyclopedia, my parents couldn't afford it either, the whole set. But I remember we had one. For some reason, we had one. Maybe it was G or A, whatever, right? They were alphabetical.
They would give a free sample, I think.
Then that's what we had.
Yeah.
Every paper I had to do, the topic began with that letter, just so I wouldn't have to go to the library. Honest to God, I can't, one, we had that free sample. So anyway, I totally relate. Library family for sure, or the G, whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of good information out there that starts with the letter G. Giraffe, geography. You can go all day.
Now I understand why my parents, but they did get a world book, and it was very exciting because it was actually the mid 80s. So for a little while, it was pretty current for me because I was probably about 10 when we got it. Mm-hmm. And like I could actually do reports from it, but it's still there, 30 some years later, it's still there on their shelves. I don't know if they still use it, but that was an investment. What are you going to do with it? Right. You're not going to throw it in the garbage. They won't throw anything in the garbage to begin with that has any useful life left in it. They probably look things up in it.
Wouldn't it be interesting to go back and read some of and what has changed? And what do you look back and say, oh my gosh, that was so wrong? Or
you could read about East Germany, right?
Yeah,
and
right. Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting in a way.
It is. So yeah. Well, we clearly could talk about this all day long, and I know I echo everything. The earplugs, I'm such an earplug fanatic. I'm always saying that hurts my ears, and I can't hear, Jen. It must be related. I can't turn.
I now carry my own with me wherever I go. That's next level.
That is next level. And Jody, I also can't turn on the TV. It's kind of willful. Like I just have decided this is not going to be one of my things. I have enough things. I can delegate that thing about turning on the TV to everybody else. And definitely with my things I say, if I say anything that might be modern, I'm told that's cringe. That's cringe, Mom. So don't, and I've also been told, don't ever say that again.
Yeah, because when you say it, it's cringe, clearly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we would love to hear, I don't know if anybody has anything else to add, but we'd also like to hear from our viewers. What are you old about? And what do your kids tell you is what you're not allowed to say?
I have a TV one since everyone's talking about the TV.
Yeah.
This past Christmas, one of our sons gave me my Christmas present was a Fire Stick, but not just a Fire Stick. He also put me on different streaming accounts that he pays for. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. And he connected the Fire Stick so I wouldn't have to fiddle with all of that. It was so exciting. And he showed me how to use it, but he was in a rush and I didn't have time to write it down. And so I couldn't figure out how to use the Fire Stick. And I really wanted to use the Fire Stick and see all this TV that people have been talking about that I haven't seen. And it took like a month before I could get his attention. And the only reason he came was because I texted him and I said, I finally gave in that I couldn't figure this out and that Poppy had given me instructions and now the TV is all messed up. So he came, the son came, he fixed everything. And it was just the two of us. And he's a teacher. So he got into his teacher voice with me. He's explaining things and I'm taking notes. And my husband walks in the door and our son spins on his heel and he says, "Don't you ever tell her how to do anything with technology ever again." But now we can use the Fire Stick, the two old people, and we sit on our TV that the others don't watch, and we can toggle between streaming services.
Yeah, we should talk one day about all the best things to watch on TV or something. Yeah. Give each other some tips. All right. Anybody have anything else? Otherwise, thanks everybody for joining us today and tell us some of your embarrassing moments too. We're here for them. And we will see you soon on our next Live with Your Teen. Bye, everyone.